KD Live.
What the haters talking about?
What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you represent. Throw up your flag. Family, I need you to smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already on YouTube, after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. I let a few hundred of y'all come in, then I'm going in. But in the meantime and in between time, I'm going to give some shots out to the early birds. And what better way to start it off with Willie Harris? What's up, Willie? Hell of a name. Salute. Who is this? Gina Bell. What up? What's up, Philly? Robert Smith. Memphis, Tennessee checking in. Saginaw, Michigan. Vail, Washington. Saginaw, Michigan was the first city I saw someone open carry in. It's way back in the early 90s. Open carry, Saginaw, Michigan. Two things I remember about Saginaw. Open carry and very cold. David White, what up? What's up, Oakland, California? Jasmine Williams in the building. What's up, David White? Donald Brooks. Turn that cap lock off, homie. Billy Williams, what's up? I see Brandon Augustine, Lafayette, Louisiana in the house. All right, fam, I'm going in. Let me tell y'all something, fam. This is a cautionary tale. For those of you out there who got those hot tempers, who can't control your emotions, you want to listen to this. Oh, yeah. This is for the hotheads. This is the episode for the hotheads right here. Let me put a picture up of the subjects here. So, the guy that's swinging, he lost his life. He's Orozco Mendoza, Nicaraguan, lost his life after being shot multiple times. The aggressor, identified as Eduardo Zamora, was arrested at the scene by authorities. So what's the backstory? Okay, first of all, this happened in Costa Rica. And there was a dispute between two neighbors that escalated into a murder. They started arguing. It got heated. And next thing you know, somebody was on the ground dead. The dispute, well, actually, they say that Eduardo Zamora was the aggressor, but he was not the aggressor. Antonio Orozco Mendoza was the aggressor. He swung first, and old buddy pulled that thing out on him and clipped him. I do mean clipped him, hit him 14 times. Now, the dispute was recorded by the condominium's security cameras. These are the neighbors. They live in a condominium complex. They live right next door to each other. So, according to authorities, this was the culmination of years of conflicts between those involved. The situation escalated during an argument between the wives of those involved, caused by the water shutoff valve. So all of this over a water shutoff valve. But they say that this dispute between these neighbors had been going on for years. Not days, not weeks, not months, years. While the women argued heatedly, Ramirez Zamora reloaded the gun that he used to shoot Orozco Mendoza, who had began to physically assault him. As I said, the confrontation culminated with Orozco Mendoza receiving 14 shots and dying at the scene. The neighbors alerted authorities, who detained Ramirez Zamora immediately at the crime scene. According to the victim's sister-in-law, the conflict between both neighbors was constant, and complaints had already been filed for threats and harassment. She said they lived in constant confrontation. This could be seen coming. Eduardo Ramirez Reyes, the detainee's father, stated that his son had endured years of harassment and attacks by Orozco. He said, "My son couldn't take the situation anymore, and unfortunately, he had to shoot him," he declared with obvious concern for his son's legal future. On the other hand, Ramirez Zamora's defense lawyer, Andres Duran, argued that his client acted under accumulated stress due to constraint conflicts due to constant conflicts with the victim. Eduardo acted in a moment of desperation and fear. The years of harassment and attacks took him to the limit, Duran said. The prosecutor's office has initiated the corresponding investigations and is expected to charge Ramirez Zamora with murder. So let me tell y'all how this could have been avoided. Keep in mind, fam, this is years of complaints, arguments, altercations, years. Can you imagine living next door to somebody? I mean, next door. You share a wall. For years, y'all at it. As the sister-in-law said, you could see that coming. Some of y'all got situations with your neighbors right now and you're bumping heads. What you should really think about is, what is the worst thing that could happen? Because I know some of you want to put hands on your neighbor. I know it. I know you do. I know you want to put hands on them. Think about what is the worst thing that could happen. The worst thing that could happen is that you or one of your loved ones lose their life, or all of y'all lose your lives. The second worst thing that could happen is that you have to kill somebody, or you kill somebody. Because even if you win, sometimes you lose. You can kill somebody and still go to jail for 20, 30, 40 years and have a clean record, ain't never been in no trouble. When you use that thing, when you use that hammer, you better know what you're doing and you better know when to use it, because you're not going to get the same benefit of doubt or the same grace as a police officer is. They're not going to give you, they're not going to let you operate with the same amount of latitude. You going to jail, you going to prison. Now, it should be the other way around, because cops take an oath. They have training. They get paid to be professional. And they oftentimes cross the line and illegally kill people. But they got qualified immunity, so they get off a lot. You ain't getting off. If those stars don't align, if those dots don't connect exactly like they're supposed to, if that puzzle don't fit exactly in the place it's supposed to fit, you're going to jail. You're going to prison. So before you pull that gun out, you better really think about it, especially if you ain't the jail type, especially if you ain't never been in prison before, you ain't never been in trouble before, you ain't about that life. You better be very, very careful before you pull that thing out. Dude probably could have had a self-defense if he hadn't shot him 14 times. If their laws are anything like U.S. laws, shooting a man 14 times, that ain't gonna fly in the U.S. courts unless you're a police officer. If you're a police officer, you can shoot them 155 times. You know, you can shoot them, reload, shoot them again, reload, shoot them again, reload. Take your time. You can go to the store, come back, and then still shoot them, and then say your life was threatened. You had to go to the store. You had to leave, go to the store, get some chips because, you know, the dude wrestling with the dude made you hungry, so you had to go get some chips, come back, ate the chips, get some more strength, and then you felt threatened and you shot him, you killed him. Then they're gonna let you resign. If it get that far. But you going to jail. So you better be careful. Here's the deal, fam. I know it's a hard thing to do, especially when you think you're right. But you got to swallow that pride. I've had to do that to a neighbor before. I've had to do that with a neighbor before. In my mind, I'm thinking, man, like, man, you don't know you ain't got no idea who you dealing with. I'll go there, right? But I'm thinking, like, your actions have to be consistent with the outcome that you want. Whatever your objective is, whatever your goal is, your actions have to be consistent with that. If you are living in a neighborhood and you're a homeowner, even if you're renting, your goal should be to live in a harmonious environment. You should want to lay, wherever you lie your head, you should want peace and tranquility at all times. You should not want drama where you lay your head. You shouldn't want drama anywhere, but especially where you lie your head. You should want your neighbor to want to look out for you, and you should want to look out for your neighbor. That's how you protect your neighborhood. That's how you keep the unwanted, the undesirables, the uncivilized mutts at bay. You're watching, you're looking, you're checking, you're always checking for each other. That's how you prevent the uncivilized mutts from just blending into your neighborhood and walking away with one of your children. You see? But if you don't know your neighbor and you don't know your neighbor's name, you don't know what your neighbors look like, you don't know who's supposed to be in the neighborhood, who's coming and going, you're probably gonna have a lot of problems in that neighborhood because ain't nobody looking out for each other. So whether you don't like your neighbor or not, you still should look out for your neighbor, and your neighbor should look out for you, because that's where you lay your head. If somebody break in your neighbor's house, and you just sit back and watch them because you scared or you don't like your neighbor, well, guess what? You next. They coming to get you next, because criminals always go back to the sweet spot. Sometimes they hit the same spot. But if they go into a neighborhood, an apartment complex, and it's sweet, they going back. That's easier than trying to find a new spot that's sweet. Go back to the same spot you already hit. It's sweet over there. So they'll be back. So what could have been done differently? First and foremost, the women shouldn't have been yapping. See, that's what got him killed. His woman got him killed. Went out there yapping with the other woman. So here come old buddy to defend his woman's honor. And then here come the other dude, the aggressor, to defend his woman's honor. So I guess dude over here, the shooter, says something slick that ran the victim hot, and the victim took a swing. He just went after him. Next thing you know, dude come out of there. Bang, boom, 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 boom. Just kept on shooting. He was shooting like he was playing one of them games at the carnival. You know how you be shooting them targets, moving targets at the carnival? Yeah, he was shooting them like that. It would have went a lot differently if old buddy would have thought to himself, I better not go out there and swing on that man, because if I do, he gonna probably shoot me 14 times and I'm gonna be dead. You gotta think about what's the worst thing that could happen. If I do this, what's the worst thing that could happen? And you gotta stop taking people for granted. Just because you bigger than somebody, or just because you think you're stronger than somebody, or you can whoop somebody, don't mean they're gonna let you whoop them. Don't mean you're gonna win the fight. You might whoop them, but that don't mean you might win the battle, but you're gonna lose the war. Anytime somebody confronts you, if somebody confronts you, they're probably prepared to defend themselves or attack you. They're probably prepared. They probably have a weapon on them, and you should consider that. You should think about that. And it's easier said than done, because when you're caught up in the moment, you know, tempers are flying high. You're hot. Circuits just shut down, and you just start tripping. But you better think about that. You better think, what's the worst thing that could happen? Just stop taking people for granted, thinking you can whoop somebody because you're bigger than them or you're stronger than them. Stop thinking you can whoop somebody because they're quiet. Stop thinking because somebody don't mess with somebody, they quiet. Do y'all remember that dude, that neighbor who lived across the street from the other neighbor, killed his neighbors in the snow? Y'all remember that? Hit him with the shotgun, killed the husband, then the wife. Y'all remember that? The husband and the wife had been shoveling snow on his side of the street, putting the snow actually in his yard. It appeared to me, at least, that they were kind of like bullies, and the other dude was quiet. He didn't want no problems. But it seemed like to me they kept pushing him, and dude came out and put that thing in their life. And he ultimately committed suicide. So that's a dude that really wasn't about that life, but he snapped. Couldn't take it no more. Better stop taking people for granted and stop thinking that because you're bigger than somebody, because you're stronger than somebody, because you got somebody outnumbered, because somebody is quiet, that they won't do you something, that somebody won't do you something bad. You better stop doing that before you get yourself hurt. It happens for real. It go down for real. This is real life. This dude, there's a chance that he could have made it. He probably could have made it. He probably would have been all right if they just have a conversation. Imagine if one of them would have swallowed their pride and said, "Hey man, let me holler at you one." He catch one of them walking one day. Catch him on a good day. Catch him on a good day. "Hey man, let me holler at you for a minute. Hey, look, man, I know we've had our differences, and this ain't even have to be years. This is just a couple times. Okay, we bumped it. Okay, let's have a conversation. Got to have that conversation. Let's have a conversation. What's up, man? Look, I know we've had our differences, but we neighbors and we got to look out for each other. So what is it? What is it that I need to do to make that happen? You know, to make this relationship that we have smoother, you know, and, you know, so you tell them, you know, what's on your mind. He tell you what's on your mind. A lot of times it just be a disagreement and a misunderstanding, and people be just too proud to apologize. They just be too proud to swallow their pride and just say, I was wrong. Or, yeah, that was a misunderstanding. See, they could have just had a conversation and it probably would have never even gotten that far. The women could have done the same thing, but they didn't. They doing all that yapping. Now, both of them really ain't got a husband. One of them husband is dead, and the other's husband could be going to prison for a long, long time. Now they got to all look back on it and say, damn, was it really worth it? Last thing I want to say, fam, keep your hands to yourself. Better stop putting your hands on people. Now, if somebody attack you, you got the right to defend yourself, and you should. You should do it with everything you got in you. You better stop putting your hands on people, because everybody ain't playing. Till next time, fam, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. No more talk.